because I'm about to introduce your next speaker. He's going to be impactful all the way from Ohio, Scott Easterday.
Okay, here we go. This is like the top part I've been waiting for all morning, all week. So, all right, I have to empty my hands. So I'll show you the books first, and then we'll get into this. These 3 books wouldn't have happened if I never came to any of this stuff. We're going to go back in that story just a little bit here. But one of the things you got to understand what you have to do, and this is so important. In fact, it was funny. Johnny and I talked about it all the last 2 days so far, is making sure that you say yes to enough stuff. And I'm going to repeat that so many times, you're not going to want to hear yes ever again in your life. Okay? But had I not said yes, none of these 3 would have happened. And volume 3 that I apparently just got volunteered for wouldn't happen either. Okay? So now let's get down to business. Here's me. Look at that nice looking guy there, you know. Okay, we'll go to a better slide. Here's my top line. If I did not do this, this is why it's so important. You have to say yes. And this all started because I went to a book signing in Denver, Colorado, where I would meet Daniel Gomez at the Chiefs Business Systems Conference. Now, I thought nothing of it. I was actually scared. I hid from him. I did. But when it came down to it, Daniel had patience with me. And you got to understand something about that, too, because we're all different people. He had a lot of patience in getting me to do this. Had he never told me that he believed in me, we had several prayers. There's many of them. And had he have never done that, I wouldn't have gotten to do this. Now, my speech today has taken a different turn from what we were going to do. And the reason it's took this turn like it did the last time I was here is because you have to have those people that have patience with you and surround yourself with those people in your life. We don't do that enough. But you have something here today that there's 27 people here. I got the actual physical count. 27 of yous. I've only seen 5 of you before, maybe 6, okay? But you got new people you can meet. What can these people do for you? You stood out to me because I saw your table back there. It's like, I'm like, I got to go find out who she is tonight, okay? I know Joe from like 2 conferences ago. So get to know these people. Now let's go back a step and talk about what happened. I joined a Chief Systems before I went home from that book signing. I joined that. I signed up for Sticker Shock. I came to all these events. This is now my 3rd one. So you had to get out of your comfort zone because I was hiding. I was like this. I was scared. And I'll say it every day. Now this is probably the most important bullet point. Everybody that thinks they know about speaking like we're doing today, they think they know everything. My business partner back home from one of my other businesses told me, and I hope he hears this speech. I don't care if he does. He told me there's no money in speaking. I said, have you ever done it? He said, no. I said, then how do you know? Of course, I included some expletives. Okay? He doesn't have a clue what's in speaking. He's never been on a stage, and he'll never be on a stage because he's too chicken, what to do it. And he doesn't want to try it. So if they haven't done it, you probably shouldn't ask them how it goes. Poor excuse, but if you've never been to this hotel, how can I expect to get a good review out of you for this hotel if you've never been here, right? You'll never know. Now, I've stayed here 3 times. I keep coming back. So either they're doing something wrong or I really like it. One of the 2. So I've got 10 years of success. November 1st of 2018 is the most important day in my life. I went self-employed that day, and I fired my boss. No, the book was written later, much later. Okay. But I fired my boss, and I went on my own. Now, I planned it out. I do want to, let me go back and preface something with this, and this is important. Please don't go up home and quit your job tomorrow morning. Okay? if you're going to do it, well, yeah, plan it out. Have a little bit of a plan so you don't hurt yourself financially, mentally, a lot of stuff, because until you get used to that and your income does change, you think, oh, I'm going to make all kinds of money. Well, we all know it's different, isn't it? You didn't make $100,000 in your first speaking gig. Of course, watch her tell me she did. She's worth it, I'm sure. I've seen her speaking. So, how many know what the EKG is at the heart doctor? Yeah, everybody's had one? $120 piece of paper. I tell you, we're in the wrong industry. If we can charge that much for paper, we should just go ahead and do EKGs all day. Seriously. I haven't had a bad EKG since the day I went self-employed. I even made the electrophysiologist, I swear I drive her up the wall, but she earns her money. I made her go pull every EKG back to day one. Everything when I worked for an employer, everything, had a big long name longer than this here LED screen. Now, what does that tell you? Yeah, my health care cost went down. So I saved money because I went working for myself. Now I'm having fun. I'm traveling. I come to these things 2-3 times a year now. I see Daniel and Brittany and many others in several other cities across the country. And now it's like a visit. Now we get together. We're all like family. I've seen you 2 or 3 times. I've finally lost count, So you got to have fun and travel. And guess what? Tax deductible, isn't it? If you're an accountant, you love it. All right, so here's what happened. This was right after my first sticker shock. This is actually the PowerPoint slide, but I did change the book to blue because the color of the book was blue. This is all that happened because I went to a book signing, and I'm in the wrong spot, but I went to a book signing, and then look who I find at that book signing. Yours truly, the contract man. Well, guess what? I was in 2 brain changers. Well, here's what's going on next. You got a good look at that. Watch this. Whoa! And there's stuff I couldn't put on here because Adam's screen is too small. So we're going to have to get a bigger room, which means the price of this is going up. No. Okay. But look at all the things that have happened because of this. And now, I don't know how this came about, but apparently I'm taking another course on speaking somewhere. It's probably one of his. I don't know. It happens. So my point to you is this. You've got to really seriously get in there. Don't be afraid to make the change. Now, truth, this speech was not prepared. The last time I was here, I took the speech I had prepared and I tossed it in the rubbish can in the hallway. And I came up and did what I'm doing right now. Now, my speech, but I get animate. I don't get as animate as a few of the others in here. But I do get animate because it's important and it's so much better on the heart. Okay. I love it. I have an arrhythmia. If I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know it, would you? It acts up maybe once a month when I get aggravated at somebody or get in an argument with a good friend. But outside of that, it's minimal, and I can manage it. So you got to have a good time. And so all these events I've started coming to. First time I went on this stage, and I'll backtrack a little for that. When I came up here, I had no clue what to do. We were actually at the Norris Conference Center. I had no clue what to do. I was scared to, I don't know what. But everybody there was supportive. You were there, weren't you, Kenneth? I believe so, yeah. Kenneth was there. Joe Deskins was there. So I remember some of you guys. So now when I get up here, it's easy. And then I got Sanja and Chuck making faces at me because they know me. They did this because I missed an event, but that's okay. It's fun, and again, you have to have fun with this stuff. When I first met Kevin didn't say a lot to me either, by the way. He was just coming out of his shell. Now, Kevin and I happen to be in both volumes of this. He doesn't know it, but I did suggest he joins volume 3 with me, so him and I are in all 3 volumes now. Yeah, so we're working on that. And, hey, I want commission for that sale. So my message today is you got to seriously make sure you're saying yes. Too many people, and you can't tell me you didn't say yes, because when you were growing up, you wanted mom and dad to say yes to everything you asked for. Did you not? Yeah, you got and if mom and dad said no, you never said no to nothing because you always wanted to do everything. So we have that ability, and fill your calendar. I was just talking to Johnny last night. He was telling me about all the events he's got filled. You know what he's doing? Johnny says, I've got an event here, an event here, and an event here, and I need to fill this gap here because it's empty. And while I'm up there, I'm going to try and find something between the three. I thought, oh, wow, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. Now, he might be a different level than me, but he's following that same procedure. Okay? Martha Razzo that they talked about from Illinois, she has that same thing. She fills her calendar. You can't be afraid to say yes to something. And I'll tell you, too many people, when they start out and they say, no, I'm not going to make anything on that. Who cares? If you've got a free time slot and you're not doing anything Tuesday afternoon other than going down to McDonald's and buying a $15 value meal that's not worth $3, okay, you might as well go to an event and sell a book and make $20 to pay for your McDonald's. Okay? Take the books with you. Now, I brought these up here for a reason, and just in case. Who traveled the farthest to get here? You were my guess. I won. I will see you on the way off stage. The Brain Changer Volume 1, yes, I did get the information from the management. Brain Changer Volume 1 and 2 are signed by every author that's in this room that's been in them, including Daniel, who wrote the foreword on them, and myself. Brittany is in Volume 2. So, and of course, my book, I want you to have it, called Fire Your Boss, Never Punch a Time Clock Again. So, now I guess you probably want to figure out how to get a hold of me, don't you? Everybody wants to call me. Don't call all at once. The phone can't, I only have 2 lines, not 3. There, yeah, it is. And yes, my holiday is on Sunday. I hate that day. I appreciate the religions. I hate that day because I, for 51 years, got made fun of over it. But there's my contact stuff. The QR code does work. It's also on my table in the back. I appreciate you having me. And I guess in about 3 months, we're going to do this again, aren't we? Thanks very much.